on music that's that good. So let's jump this up in a second. We want to go to camera. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are into round 6 of today's Go4LoL Cup. And we've got an absolutely awesome game coming up in just a few seconds. We're going to be following alternate attacks against Crew 2K. I've had a brief chat to Sabi from Crew 2K, who is my contact for the team. And she's mentioned, or he's mentioned, the team has mentioned, they've only been together for a week. 1 week of playing. Average elo of 2,000 facing off against alternate. Average elo of 2,300. And without me waffling, we're already into bans and picks. Alternate attacks removing Urgot and Dr. Mundo from the game. Ari and Oriana being removed for Crew 2K. Finally, Udia being removed from the pool from alternate as their final ban. So we're going to have to see who the final ban is going to come now on behalf of Crew 2K. And we once again have two German sides facing off against one another. Nautilus, the final ban. So Oriana's the odd one out at the moment. We've seen several Urgots today, lots of Dr. Mundo, quite a few Udias as well. And Nautilus being the sort of odd one out. We've seen him banned a couple of times. But of course, now we're going to see iCarry once again looking like he's going to pick Soraka. And if he gets Soraka, that'll be very good for him. He's been playing it all day long. I've been doing a fantastic job of it as well, I should say. I'm just going to have to see who's going to then get picked through next. TechnoLink has pointed out some brilliant names there. Shen and Morgana still available and still in the pool. Whether or not Crew 2K or Alternate are going to pick them up remains to be seen. So 15 seconds left. And Crew still have to pick one more champion. I'm going to have to see who they decide to go with. If it's going to be Corky or similar. They've opted to go for Skarner. So that's a very, very interesting pick. Skarner, of course, has a brilliant ultimate. Impale, being able to suppress and move around an enemy champion. Whether or not it's completely viable at this level of pain, I'm not 100% certain. Now we're going to see who the counter picks are. Alternate opening up with a Tristana and Blitzcrank. And that's awesome. I'm really happy to see that. Blitzcrank, of course, is an extremely aggressive champion. Rocket grab, always up in your face. He's going to be able to do a 1-2 punch, knock you up in the air, and really just keep you where he wants you. Savvy looking like they're going to hover over Kennen for a few seconds. Graves maybe being their attack damage carry. And it's going to be very interesting. Oh, opting, maybe Corky, maybe Graves, maybe Corky. Going to have to see what happens. And greeting, Sphinx. We're up into round number 6. Alternate attacks wearing the blue trunks for this time around. And Crew 2K chilling in the purple trunks. Corky and Kennen are locked in. So Joe for the win. He's going to be able to rock out that Arctic Warfare Kennen skin that we've seen a couple of times already. An alternate now looking at who they want to pick in. Cliff is sitting on Vladimir. And of course, if he's sitting on Vladimir, it does mean that Sabi's not going to be able to play Vlad. Very interesting to see who's going to get locked in. Whether or not we're going to see another double AP, whether or not we're going to have Tanky Bruiser or similar. It's all about to come down now. The last 15 seconds before Alternate have to decide their final lineup. We've got a very, very aggressive Blitzcrank, probably Blitzcrank Tristana. And it looks like they're going to go Brand. Well, that's very interesting as well. That means it's going to be Vladimir in the top lane, Brand in the middle. And quite an interesting collection of champions here. And thinking about it, Brand's Pyroclasm in conjunction with the Hemoplague from Vladimir, it's really going to hit hard. And Joe for the win is now going to decide who's going to be this final champion. Who are they going to put in the middle against a Brand. Not a Brad, a Brand. Yeah, TechnoLink, we hear you, dude. We know there's no Morgana. We know there's no Shen. Maybe they'll put Morgana against Brand. That's a very good pick, actually, because all of Brand's abilities, bar for his little love tap, his E, which I don't even know what it's called now that I think about it. You know, his Pillar of Flame and his Fireball, they're easy to see, easy to predict. So a Morgana Black Shield is very easy to mitigate that damage and block the stun. Go4LoL is hovering over an Anivia, and that can work. Especially in a lineup like this, if Skarner can grab somebody, pull them backwards, and Anivia can just put up that crystallized wall in between whoever's been captured, it does mean that they're going to end up, you know, instantly killing somebody else and locking the enemy out. So I quite like that pick. I can definitely see it working. I do think we could see some potentially hilarious setups where Skarner could run in, grab a Brand or a Tristana, and as he's moving back, Blitzcrank just pulls him back towards the team. So you've got sort of this counter in terms of Blitzcrank, where Skarner's going to be trying to get into melee range to land his ultimate, and Blitzcrank's going to go, all right, come on, let me pull you through. Like, no worries, brother. So we've got some love in the chat at the minute. Lance, win the game. I'm with you guys. I'm voting for the underdog. I'm hoping that Crew 2K can pull off a potential upset against an EPS team. I mean, this is alternate attacks. They compete in the highest levels of the German League of Legends leagues, and they do fantastically well on the EU scene as well. So that's it. We are going to see Ghost Ignite on Vladimir. He's most likely going to be in the top lane against a Kennen. That's my assumption. And we're probably going to see then Pharrell and Lord on Brand facing off against Go4LoL in the middle. Brand versus Anivia. And, of course, bottom lane, a very aggressive Blitzcrank Tristana going up against the defensive Corki Soraka. Both champions obviously having the silence infuse from Soraka and then the ultimate from Blitzcrank. I'm going to have to familiarize myself with all of his names. So let's see what happens. Yep, alternate attacks. They are a professional team. Let's actually pull the ladder up for a second, and you'll be able to see Crew 2K managing to beat ATG. We streamed their previous match. They have now advanced. So it's going to be Crew 2K facing off against alternate attacks. They're going to buy in their first round, followed up by a few more victories. A lot of German teams as well, actually. So taking out their nation mates. So let's open up the teams really quickly. We've got Alternate LOL and, of course, Crew 2K. Alternate LOL, been around for a while. You know, all the different players, and you'll see just how many cups they've competed in. Go4LoL 85, 86, and 87. And I think it just shows the most recent matches. I don't know if it goes further back. Looking at Crew 2K, of course, this is their first recorded event, and it's going to be absolutely awesome. We're down to the last few minutes of the Champion Select loading screen. This is, of course, just the delay, just to make sure that nobody can ghost and stream. And for anybody that's on the stream, for the 125 guys that are hanging around, we're in for a real treat this time around. Crew 2K have shown some absolutely amazing coordination in team fights. We followed 2 of their games already. And both of the previous games, they were playing Kennen and Vladimir, and they just completely obliterated enemy teams once they'd committed to the big fights. Vladimir getting some great hemo plagues with the slicing maelstrom being thrown on top of that. The thing that's very interesting here is we're going to be seeing Skarner against Blitzcrank, and I'm very nervous for that Skarner. I don't know how Max Fidelity is going to be able to get in range to impale somebody without being caught by a rocket grab from Blitzcrank. And then, of course, you've now got like really strange setups because, for example, Nocturne has the ability to dive into a team fight. He's going to blow that paranoia, fly all the way forward, and Blitzcrank's going to pull somebody back to his team, and the rest of his team is going to sit on the guy that's been pulled out, you know, that's been pulled to a safe zone, kill somebody away from their teammates. So there's not a lot of synergy in that regard, but we're going to have to see how it plays out. If Onzo opts to keep his paranoia and only uses it when it's really necessary to pick up a kill right at the end of the day, or something similar, that's when we're going to have to see how the coordination works. So, game is loaded, and we need to pick who we're going to support. Doesn't really matter which teams you like or dislike. We only base our support based on skins. Remember, that's the rule. Skins wins games. And finally we're loading in. Oh, the boxing Blitzcrank. That's Boom Boom Blitzcrank, isn't it? Boom Boom Blitzcrank, the Cryo Core brand. Of course, Pink Tristana, that doesn't count. Everyone gets Pink Tristana, so I'm not allowed to like that one. I can't remember the name of this Philosopher's, this Anivia, but she's hanging, she throws the Philosopher's Stone onto the ocean and freezes it. Someone tell me what it's called. And don't forget, Anzo still hasn't connected, so we're going to have to see what skin Nocturne's wearing. If Nocturne has maybe the Halloween skin or the bright orange one, whatever that's called, I think that might end up with... Oh, Halloween skin, sorry. Sorry, guys, we've got to give this. This is 3 awesome skins, only against 2. And the naked Skarner, naked Corki, and naked Soraka just isn't cool. So, awesome skin. Spooky Nocturne. I'm just going to wait for him to load up into the game, and then we're finally good to go. Alternate attacks facing off against Crew 2K. 2,300 elo facing off against 2,000. And that higher level, 300 really isn't that much of a difference. And the game is good to go. Oh man, I love this Blitzcrank skin. Look at those giant boxing gloves. It's so hard to fault anything with that skin. He's even got little duck feet, and let's just actually just follow him. So guys, where's your money? Which team is going to win it? Who is going to pick up the game? Because that is what's going to happen. That's what's going to... This is the very next team is, of course... The team that loses this is, of course, knocked out of the tournament. And I believe we're at the top 16 in the ladder. And now we've got Blitzcrank moving up. He's got to put a point in Rocket Grab already. If he catches Skarner, this is going to be really bad. And I don't think the vision was even there. I don't think they even seen one another. You cannot get closer than that. Blitzcrank has now moved up to blue buff. Skarner obviously seen Blitzcrank as he was running away, and I think Blitz would have maybe just seen the animation or the face on the mini-map as he ran away. Geza chilling with Blitzcrank. They might just steal this blue buff, pull it through the wall, let it sit on their lap, and try to pick up some kills. Opting not to, deciding maybe it's a bit unsafe to sit there. So moving back into their jungle. And having a look at boot pot meta for most of the lanes. Nocturne opening with the Vamp Scepter. And Skarner opening with a Regrowth Pendant. So we can assume that Skarner is going to be rushing a Philosopher's Stone. And of course it's going to allow him to keep throwing out those crystal slashes of his. And he pretty much clears out this Wraith camp instantaneously. One extra auto attack just for good measure there. Frelin Lord chilling in the grass. Cryo Core brand. It's one of my favorite skins as well. Really cool effect. I'm going to be very careful in this game because the kill potential in this bottom lane is huge. The kill potential when Nocturne hits his ultimate makes life even more difficult. So I think this is going to be an explosive game. And hopefully it'll be a good one. So, Corki Soraka going to be chilling against this Blitzcrank Tristana. And we're definitely going to have to see some wards in this bottom bushes. Soraka's going to have to put 1 or 2 down and just make sure they can see when the rocket grabs are coming. They need to be able to keep tabs of where Blitzcrank is at all times. Otherwise, they're going to get caught and blown up. That's the big problem. So, let's... Farming. Passive farming at the minute. Very early levels. No one's got any ranks into any of their other abilities, nor do they have any damaging items. So, as usual, it's a very slow start. And neither Blitzcrank nor Tristana opting to put any pressure onto the Corki. In the middle lane, though, Frelin Lord already putting some hurt down onto Anivia. 1 point in his Pillar of Flame, 1 into Sia. And Conflagration. That's his on hit. You just pick a target. If somebody's been affected by Blaze, it'll bounce to multiple targets as well. But Frelin Lord has used a significant amount of mana already. Less than half his mana bar. Just to put some damage into Joe. It's now been healed up from potions. So, back and forth at the moment. Nothing noticeable to really drive home about. Junglers all opting to farm as best they can. Giza not even opting for that rocket grab. That was a pretty clear rocket grab onto Corki. Deciding, you know what, maybe it's better to not blow it now. Use it at a later date. Let's have a look at his abilities. 1 in all of his 3 primary skills so far. He's got the rocket grab and then follow it up by the power fist. Now I'm very interested to see how Giza decides to level up his blitzcrank. What skills is he going to prioritize? Is his rocket grab for additional damage and lower cooldown, or power fist for additional damage as well? Throwing the rocket grab, only managing to catch a creep though, unfortunately. And in this middle lane now, we've got 4 champions hanging around. Anzo just showing his face, strolling across with the red buff, pretty much saying, you know what? I stole your stuff, or tried to steal your stuff. Hey, what's up? I'm here. Kennen in the top lane, 24 CS to the 24 of Vladimir. Corki in the bottom lane, 25 to the 19 of Tristana. So, interestingly enough, Corki out-farming Tristana, and that is probably because the wave was sitting on his tower. Corki was able to just play a little bit safer, and, you know, you can always farm a little bit more effective when you know what's happening. So there's the Pillar of Flame going out. Sia just missing Joe for the win. Brand maxing Conflagration first. That's the easy mode option for Brand. It doesn't deal as much damage as your Pillar of Flame and Sia, but it is of course easier to land because it's just a target. You walk up, you click E, you left click, and the dude gets hurt. So Cliff is now moving up, pops his Sanguine Pool really early. Huge damage coming out from Sabi. I think if Max Fidelity had expected that much damage, they maybe would have even considered a dive. Ignite plus no Sanguine Pool. And of course, having the ability to slow him down with those crystal slashes. They could have taken out that Vladimir, I feel. But again, rather not give it away, rather not give away an early kill. Giza moving forward, trying to get in range to land one of those power fists. If he can knock Corki up, there's overdrive. Slow comes down from the rocket jump. Valkyrie forward. Rocket grab manages to catch Soraka, and not too much coming of it from there. Too many auto attacks landing onto Blitzcrank. And of course, there's no heal for Blitz here. So he's got his boots, he's got his pots, and he's starting to drink through them already. That's the last potion being used at 6 minutes. Whatever damage Blitzcrank takes from here on out is going to stick. So, going to be very, very careful with the harass. Kennen chilling in the grass at the moment. He's just waiting for the lane to push. Trying to pick up a little bit of experience points to get to level 6. And I think he's trying to jump Vladimir. He has moved forward. Doesn't have his ultimate yet. 1 or 2 more creeps. That'll be enough for his ulti. And I think he feels he'll be able to pick a fight with Cliff's Vlad if he gets that slicing maelstrom. Got some aggression coming down. Brilliant bait from Corki. Valkyrie's forward. He's pushing there. That's now the flash used from Blitzcrank. Passive popped as well. Mana shield. Rocket jump from Tristana. Brilliant power fist. Pulls Skarner forward. Ignite goes down as well with a turret hit. That's first blood. And that's what I was trying to say earlier. The rocket grab from Blitzcrank is so powerful against melee champions. Just so unlucky, not able to pick that up. 3 points into rocket grab, 190 damage. And then, of course, just sitting underneath a tower. Brilliant, brilliant played by Geza. Well timed, didn't panic. Only used rocket grab as it was needed. And of course, the passive, the mana barrier, it will give him a temporary shield that is 50% of his current mana pool. And that'll last for 10 seconds. It's a very, very powerful passive, especially if he starts building some mana. Defensive items, maybe the likes of a Frozen Heart, for example. And that mana shields, it makes life difficult because you can't guarantee the kill. Or rather, you know, you have to burst through another shield of hit points. It's bonus life for free. So Brand's moved up, 8 minutes now, and he's put a ward at the blue buff. Flash from Joe for the win. Takes a sear to the face and gets stunned up. Still has rebirth available though. Just double check that. Yep. Ooh, it had been egged actually. I apologize for that. Hadn't even noticed that Nivea had been egged previously. Forellan Lord moving forward, considering the dive for the kill. Opting against it. And top lane, Kennen gets a kill. Hemoplague plus Ignite burns over. Kennen managing to take out Vladimir 1v1. Missed that one, unfortunately. And now we've got a very aggressive here on this middle lane. Blitzcrank and Tristana coming up. Skarner does have his ulti, and he's overextended now. Seer to the face, Pillar of Flame. The slow comes up from Tristana, and a brilliant rocket grab backwards. Now we got a double buff Tristana, and that's going to be so difficult to deal with. You notice the strategy as well. Rocket Jump comes out from Tristana. She's putting 3 points into it already. Hits for 160 damage and slows by 60%. Once the slow has landed, then the rocket grab comes out. So it's pretty much guaranteeing a successful grab. And it's absolutely brilliant coordination here between Geza and Fish on Tristana. 2-1 the kill score. Overdrive being used. Geza's moving forward. Let's see if he can land one. Opting against it. Decides not to. Rocket Jump from Tristana just to pick up some extra CS. And of course having red and blue buff at this point. Cooldowns are greatly reduced. Rocket Jump is down to 14 seconds as opposed to the standard 18 seconds. Paranoia on the middle lane there. Nivea's being thrown. Brand's ultimate only bounces once. Or twice actually. And then eventually picks up the kill. It's a brilliant, brilliant Paranoia. And the ward that's here on this blue buff means that for the first time, Max Fidelity is actually going to be counter-jungled. We watched him playing Udia, and he was very, very aggressive with that Udia. Stealing the enemy red buff, stealing the enemy blue buff several times. And now, alternate, they will have nothing of it. They know all about this. Max Fidelity has now leashed this blue buff, and look at the ward coverage. Alternate know all about it. Smite is also available for Unzo. So it's going to come down to timing on this Smite. Whoever times it better will secure the kill. And of course, reaction speed, brilliantly done there. Smite comes out from Skarner, followed by a quick auto attack. Just manages to take the blue buff. At least it's not stolen, although it didn't go to a Nivea. And that's really the big telling factor. So 2,000 gold difference. Have a look at the farm. 65 on Kennen to 70 on Vlad. Even with a death, Vlad is still out farming Kennen. And I think that's because Sabi's been focusing on the pressure, focusing on harassing Vladimir down. In the middle lane, 65 on Brand to 45 on Anivia. And that's going to start to shine through. Skarner's now moved up. He popped the Impale, and Brand immediately blowing his cleanse. Oh no, it wasn't cleanse. Maybe it just expired. Yeah, not enough damage to kill him. That was very strange, because I don't understand how Brand didn't die if he was caught by Impale. Regardless, he did not. He managed to survive and get away scot-free. So well played to Brand. I didn't see the entire fight going out. Blitzcrank is now coming back down into this bottom lane. He's placed a ward higher up on the river, just so he knows when Skarner's coming. And Skarner, of course, double GP5, Heart of Gold. Oh, there we go. It was a quick silver sash. It wasn't a cleanse. Thank you, Omi's homies. I wasn't actually looking at the items. There's the slow going down. Valkyrie goes out. Brilliant rocket grab into the Power Fist. And it's an instantly dead Corki with the cooldown reduction. They're going to keep pushing now. Ignite goes down into Soraka. She burns her flash to carry away, and they're not willing to tank the tower for longer than that. Brand managed to pick up a stun onto Max Fidelity. He's still got blue buff up. He's moving forward. Impale not available for Skarner, so he's not going to be able to keep him, keep him down. And really, really interesting. Brand going Quicksilver Sash first. Not even stacking too much ability power. Double Dorans is the only AP items he has thus far. And you know what? He's 1-0-1, and he's out farming Anivia, so he's definitely doing something right. The stun from Anivia, the Impale and the slow from Skarner, and of course the stuns from Kennen up in that top lane. That's a brilliant, brilliant item, and it's immediately showing dividends already. So bottom lane, Tristana, double Doran, Berserker's Greaves, and a BF sword against the double Doran Phage of Corki. Corki's going to need to use all of his abilities just to keep up in damage with Tristana. And of course, with Blitzcrank being able to just silence, knock up, pull back, the amount of crowd control is very, very difficult to deal with. So Max Fidelity is now setting up for a bush gank. He snuck into this bush. Overdrive from Blitzcrank. He used to run away. He didn't take the bait. And that was really well played. Blitzcrank used 2 into his Power Fist, 1 into Rocket Grab. When the second Soraka was there, he immediately felt something was out of place. Soraka has not played that aggressive, hasn't pushed that far in the lane at all. He's moving forward. He's going to catch somebody. Ooh, almost with that Rocket Grab. So close. Just missing it at max range. Looking at the farm, 94 for Tristana to 106 for Corki. Very interesting that Corki's out farming Tristana, even though they've been on the back foot, even though the lane has been in favor of Tristana Blitz. And now we're going to have to see what happens. There's the overdrive. Pillar of Flame misses. Blitzcrank's moving up. Brilliant rocket grab. Huge damage going down. Flash used by Corki as well towards the tower. That felt... rocket... it was Buster Shot, rather, from Tristana, pushing him towards the tower. And just locked him up there for a few seconds longer. He did blow his summoner heal. And it just wasn't enough to do anything. It wasn't enough to survive or protect the tower. So that's the first tower down. At 14 minutes, we have a 4,000 gold lead in favor of alternate attacks. And Crew 2K really need to slow the rot. They need to try play a bit more defensively and really mitigate the damage that's coming out from this Blitzcrank Tristana combo. Rocket grab misses, but Tristana's just standing there pounding on the tower over and over and over. One push, one creep wave is enough to take off half the hit points of a tower. So the next time this comes up, if they commit to it, it's going to be another dead tower kill. Tristana's falling back. She's now picked up a pickaxe and needs another 600 gold to finish off her Infinity Edge. In terms of items for the rest of the team, Merc treads on Skarner plus his double GP5. Kennen should have enough to finish off his Will of the Ancients, which he does. And he's just saving up to pick up enough shoes for either Merc treads or Sorcerer's Shoes as his next item. That's going to be my first assumption. Now, we know Nocturne's down at the Dragon. We've got wards that have shown us this. Nocturne does have Paranoia up and available, and Alternate are now moving around, coming into the river as well. So Nocturne has just leashed this blue buff, and he's falling backwards. He's going to be able to Paranoia forwards, and let's just see what happens. Valkyrie comes out from Corki. Eventually Paranoia down. Spell Shield completely bursted, and that's a dead Nocturne. Brilliant rocket grab onto Kennen. He immediately pops his Maelstrom, survives for a few seconds longer, but it's not enough to save his life. The Hemoplague plus Pyroclasm just melts the hit point totals of Crew 2K. Vladimir may go down for this Ignite ticking through. Does manage to pick up a kill. Soraka finally picked up right in the back lane as well. And that's an ace. 10-3 in favor of Alternate. Vladimir and Nocturne, the only two to go down. Huge amount of damage on Blitzcrank as well, but Blitzcrank catching Kennen and pulling him backwards. A max level Power Fist rocket grab deals 300 damage. And that just chunked off Kennen's HP. Just doesn't have the survivability or the defensive stats to handle that kind of burst. And you notice that Hemoplague was thrown out from Vladimir. Caught, I believe, 4 of them on the right-hand side there by that Tribush. And Pyroclasm bouncing around. All the bonus damage from Hemoplague just melting their HP bars completely. There's another Dragon now going down. And the gold graph has now increased to 6,000 gold at the 18-minute mark. Brand sitting 206 with 2,400 gold. And 1 or 2 more creep kills is going to be enough to pick up a BF sword and a blasting wand, or alternatively BF sword plus Sorcerer's Shoes. Again, just to get the stun. Pillar of Flame into Sia. 4 points into Pillar of Flame. 5 points into Conflagration. Focusing maybe for like a farming type build and just the easy mode. There's the effect I was telling you about. Conflagration lands and brilliant damage on Joe for the win. Pillar of Flame was available, but I just don't think he had enough mana. It's 100 mana cost, and he only picked up 100 mana just in that last second there. So would have thrown the Pillar of Flame down, but sadly did not have the mana to cast it. And now all of a sudden, the game is really spiraling out of control here for Crew 2K. 7 kills, 6,000 gold. Turret advantage, and the fact that Alternate, they're not afraid to dive. Blitzcrank got his gold per 5, he's got boots 5 as well, so that's going to make it even more difficult. Overdrive plus boots 5, give him a movement speed of 444. Actually, no, that's before overdrive. Overdrive will give him another 16% on top of that, so that'll be around 460 or 470 movement speed. It's really going to make life difficult to get away from that Blitzcrank. In the top lane, oh, look at this now as well. Brand not only going Quicksilver Sash first, but opting to go for a Fiendish Codex and an Amplifying Tome. So that's probably going to work towards a Morello's Evil Tome. Cooldown reduction, mana regen, and that makes perfect sense. Paranoia going out, the Unspeakable Horror does fear Soraka, but she just keeps moving forward. Astral Blessing goes down and a brilliant rocket grab. Completely blows up Soraka. She popped Wish as well as her Astral Blessing and still just got blown up through all of that damage. The silence from Blitzcrank, his static field going out and preventing any more abilities being used. Unfortunate for Soraka, she's now gone down as well. And this Blitzcrank lane is really putting pressure in the bottom lane. 0-2 Soraka, 0-3 Corki, and 1-3 on Skarner. Compliments of a few small oversteps, and very, very interesting now. We're going for an 18-minute Baron. They're bouncing the damage around 11, 12, level 11s and level 12s. This is very, very interesting to see how this is going to go. We're going to work towards. And that's right, the Fiendish Codex does also build into the Deathfire Grasp. But you generally see people picking up the Kage's Lucky Pick first, and then the Fiendish Codex. So let's see. We should have enough gold for that now, actually. 1,300. There you go. Deathfire Grasp. Going for the full burst combo. Deathfire Grasp, of course, taking off 30% of their maximum health. Pop that as soon as you initiate a fight. Throw out the Pyroclasm Hemoplague combo in a team fight, and somebody's going to be insta-killed before Pyroclasms even jump once. Lots of wards for alternate. They know exactly where Crew 2K are. And Crew 2K are just falling further and further behind in gold. 9,000, 10,000 the difference. They should be able to pick this turret up before anybody gets there. Taking a few damage as well. A little bit of damage back. Here comes Hemoplague. Manages to catch 4 of them. Nivea's moved forward as well. Once Nivea joins the fight, alternate decides to fall back until Brand can get up there. He's come through the tri-bush. Pillar of Flame goes out. Seer doesn't manage to stun anybody. Paranoia goes on to Corki. Pyroclasm bounces. It fizzles on Nivea. Only one bounce before anything else happens. Wish finally comes out, and Corki manages to survive by the skin of his teeth. Flash needing to be used by Nivea. She manages to get out of range of any more damage. But it's going to cost them a tower. And all of that, by the way, was 4 versus 4. Tristana wasn't even in the fight. Tristana was not around. Didn't manage to land a rocket jump slope or put any auto attack damage down at all. And this is really starting to look bad for Crew 2K. They played so fantastically well in the previous games, but I think they just gave up the advantage in the early game, giving away too many kills and just letting the Blitzcrank Tristana combo succeed too many times, unfortunately. So 11-3, Pillar of Flame lands, no Seer stun though. Rocket grab from Blitzcrank, huge damage. That's immediately dead. Nivea, she gets egged. Unfortunately, with the rebirth, doesn't manage to die. Buster Shot pushed her to safety, actually. A bit unlucky for Tristana. Seer, Pillar of Flames going out all over the place, and that's huge damage onto the alternate attacks team. And nobody's willing to commit. Skarner hasn't even been able to use Impale. He hasn't been able to get close enough to grab anybody and pull them backwards. He wants to be Scorpion. He wants to say, get over here, but it's not working. And Alternate are not falling back. Alternate are sticking on this turret. Wall goes up. They manage to catch Corki. Corki tries to Valkyrie away before being knocked up in the air mid-jump. They do manage to take out Nocturne, though, while this is going on. And Tristana's down as well. So that's going to be the killing spree bonus going to Crew 2K. And carry on pushing. Max Fidelity no longer has Impale. Nor does he have... he doesn't get in range to apply any slows. Decent damage going down into Vladimir. Stun onto Brand as well. Soraka staying up front, and that's very, very brave. I think that was a wish used from Soraka. So that's going to be hit points across the board. They pick up another kill, so that's 12-6 the difference. Sabi still wanting to push. Sabi still wanting to pick a fight here. And I think he needs to be very, very careful. Really cool animation. I didn't know you could do that. But as Corki Valkyried away, the auto attack from Blitzcrank stopped his jump. He literally got the height from the Valkyrie and then got knocked further up in the air from Power Fist. That completely cancelled it out. Item-wise at the minute, we got Deathfire Grasp on Brand. That's his first major completed item. Of course, Quicksilver Sash is there as well from very, very early on. We then have a Will of the Ancients on Vladimir, as well as an Abyssal Scepter. It's going to be reducing the magic resist on all champions. Combine that with the Static Field Burst, Hemoplague Burst, Pyroclasm Burst, and you've got mad, crazy AoE damage across the board. Skarner, on the other hand, only finished a Sheen at the moment. He's got a Null Magic Mantle and a Ruby Crystal, so he's working towards probably a Phage, most likely. Not quite sure, maybe even wanting a... I don't know, it depends. You can go so many different ways with Skarner. He scales of AD, he scales of attack speed, he scales of AP as well, so anything helps. 23 minutes in, and Corki unfortunately still hasn't even finished his Trinity Force. He does have a few of the major components, 600 gold as well, so he's going to need another 800, 900 gold then he'll be able to finish off his Trinity Force and hopefully increase his damage output significantly. They do manage to pick up the first turret of the game now, Crew 2K, and look at the damage from Pillar of Flame. That chunks off 33% of Soraka's hit points from one ability. Collection of champions here at the moment. 4 players for alternate moving in. Anivia splitting off from the team. She's going to be able to get to this mid turret first. But if Geza decides to play aggressively, well, we're going to have to see how Crew 2K want to commit to this. We've got wards, rocket grab, rocket fist going out, just missing unfortunately. But it does mean this turret's going to go down. And they're going to have to go all in if they want to save this turret. They can't afford to dilly-dally around. A free turret, but really good damage coming out from Anivia. Glacial Storm followed up by a Frostbite. And Nocturne has gone pure DPS. Infinity Edge on Nocturne. He fears no evil. And he immediately just going for the flat-out glass cannon all-in approach. So if Nocturne oversteps his bounds, he will go down very, very quickly. Not having the hit points from the like of a Frozen Man is going to start to show later in the game. Max Fidelity is moving up, flash forward and not able to catch anybody with Impale. Takes a stun there from Brand, and now he's under huge damage. Wish comes up from Soraka as well, very, very early in the fight. That was to save Skarner. Once again, pressure going down in this middle. 4 versus 5 with Skarner not being there. Doesn't have his flash either. He's not going to be able to flash Impale like he had hoped. Alternate deciding not to press the issue. 12,000 gold lead already. And Crew 2K are just under so much pressure from every single angle. Nocturne level 13 to the level 11 of Skarner. Having a quick look at the damage at the moment across the board. And it's absolutely crazy. Double Infinity Hemoplate goes down. That's 3 champions immediately blowing up Cannon before the Hemoplate can even tick over. The next focus is going to be onto Skarner. He's then blown up. He did manage to grab somebody with his Impale. But look at the split focusing across the board. Pyroclasm goes out. They might be able to pick up a kill. Summoning he'll use in the turret just to save his life. You've got 4 champions from alternate attacks at super low hit points. And it just hasn't been focused from Crew 2K. They've been 2 split apart. Joe for the win does get egged. And what damage from that crit and Sia or conflagration. Fish dodging the big one from Corki. Would have been enough to pick up a kill, but he dodges the ability. Another Sia lands for Forellen Lord. And dealing so much damage. Infinity Edge for Tristan, Infinity Edge for Nocturne, Deathfire Grasp, as well as Abyssal Scepter for Vlad. And huge amounts of gold. 1,400 for Tristan, 1,600 for Vlad, 1,800 for Brand. So much money to spend. They're just going to get even stronger. And the gold cap has increased to 13,000 gold now. Sadly, it appears that the epic skins of Halloween Nocturne, Cryocore Brand, and the Boom Boom Blitzcrank are superior to our Arctic Warfare Cannon. So difficult to come back from a game when you're this far behind. Behind on gold, behind on turrets. You've got an open inhibitor. And the enemy team can pretty much just move wherever, whenever they want. They're not afraid to tank turrets. They're not afraid. They're starting a Baron here, 2-man. Cliff on Vladimir just tanking up Baron. Healing through it pretty much. One of the Ancients and Rylai's completed. Nocturne opting for a Ruby Crystal as his next item, so you may start working towards that Frozen Mallet as we speak. Tristan is working towards a Last Whisperer. Got the pickaxe and the longsword. Rocket Jump comes out from Tristan, and nobody in the grass though, so not able to slow anybody or pick up any kills there. 423 movement speed with a Phantom Dancer. Combine that with the fact Rocket Jump can move her in and out of fights. So difficult to catch a Tristana. She's also 3 levels ahead of Corki. Levels across the board, 16, 15, 15, 16, 12 for Blitzcrank. And 11, 12, 11, 14, 14. So not only are they behind in gold and items, they're under-farmed and they're under-leveled. It really just is a matter of time before alternate attacks will probably close out a victory on this game. So Cliff pushing this bottom lane. They've got Baron buff up. About a third of the time has been used. Sorry, quarter of the time has been used. Just pushing the creep wave up, making sure that his lanes are pushing in his direction. Rocket grab from Blitzcrank. Knocked by the Power Fist, and he's pretty much going to solo this golem without taking too much damage. They've opted to give that to Vladimir. And it's mostly for the cooldown reduction. So Vladimir's cooldown reduction at the moment is capped. Ionian Boots of Lucidity combined with the blue buff cooldown reduction. And that is going to be enough to really help him with those rocket grabs. He uses his overdrive, moves up, rocket grab just misses. Joe for the win, really just moving at that very last second. Alternate attacks taking another inhibitor turret, and what damage coming down from that Pillar of Flame. Stun does go down onto Pharrell and Lord, but no commitment from Crew 2K. Not willing to push further forward. They have to take out the super minions on the top wave, and they have to try to defend this middle barrier, middle inhibitor as well, and it's just too much pressure from all sides. Vladimir now keeping their attention in this top lane, pulling them away from the real pressure, which is now coming from the bot lane. So 15,000 gold difference. Alternate now going to take another turret, and it's going to put 3 turrets between them and a 1 game. Sea Dwarf, thanks man. Thanks for joining in. Alternate attacks facing off against Crew 2K. This is round 6 of today's Go4LoL. And Brand managed to catch 2 with his Pillar of Flame, dealing so much damage. Cooldown's being used for the Lightning Shuriken, putting some hurt into Brand, but not enough to really write home about. And Crew 2K is so on the back foot. They're too scared to commit, too scared to jump in there, and of course, Skarner can't. Skarner can't get in range to impale anybody and pull them backwards, because he gets stunned by Brand or pulled back by Blitzcrank. And what a brilliant rocket grab. Flash from Skarner is used to get away. So that's the summoner spell use. He's not going to be able to jump in. And look at that. 2 crits from Tristan. Immediately melts the damage. Melts the hit points of Max Vadir. He gets a very, very good impale. Manages to lock down Vladimir, but nobody else jumped in after that. Kenan comes in with a slicing maelstrom, gets blown up under the turret. In the background, we've now got Vladimir and Nocturne diving forward. Paranoia and Vlad just really putting the hurt down. Sanguine Pool to survive. And Nivea gets egged. And all of a sudden, that's a 4-man down. That's going to be GG. That many super creeps and that many people on the Nexus. Congratulations to Alternate Attacks. They win the game. Soraka picks up a kill. Compliments of the Pew Pew laser from the spawning pool. And really well played by Alternate Attacks. They managed to pick up the victory. And they have progressed to the next round. So I'm going to just quickly close this. Let's bring up the in-game screen. Final score screen. 1-0-13 on Blitzcrank. Of the 19 kills that they were involved in. Managed to pick up 14, or was involved in 14 of them. And Nivea completely shut down by the very early Quicksilver Sash from Brand, negating all that magic damage, negating all of the burst that can be put out, and of course having the Quicksilver Sash to avoid being killed, avoid being impaled. So we're going to be jumping into the next game, guys. I'm going to put some music up in the background and just arrange exactly which game I'll be streaming. So give me a few minutes and we'll be into the very next round.